Hello everyone, this is Poonam Kuar, Assistant Professor, Government First Grade College, Bagepalli. So today we'll be discussing subject Consumer Behavior, which is for BPA, 5th semester, Bengaluru North University. So our today's session topic is mini project work, which is based on your 4th module, Consumers Decision Making Process. So in the entire module, we have seen what are the different concepts which are relating to the consumer's decision making process and what are the different steps which are influencing a consumer to take a decision and how this decision will be taken. What are the different processes or different criteria is been considered while making a decision. This we have seen in our entire chapter's concept. And then how this external environment, internal environment, different competitors criteria which are influencing a particular decision maker like the consumer, how he is being selecting the best out of the available options. This we have seen. So the mini project is based on the concept, the chapter consumers decision making process. Now the learning objective of this chapter, as we have seen, the objective of this chapter is to provide an understanding of consumers' decision making process. So as we have seen the entire consumer decision making process, how it has taken place, we have seen in the entire other concepts in a previous session concepts. So the objective of the chapter states that to make the students understand how this consumer decision making process work and how it will take place. Session outcome for the particular session. The students will be able to relate theoretical knowledge with the practical aspect. So this is a very important session. Here, the entire theoretical concepts in this chapter, what we have learned. So this all theoretical knowledge you are supposed to implement in a practical aspect, and you will be learning how these theoretical concepts are helping us to conduct this practical aspect work in a fluent manner. The mini project work for the students is here. So listen here, students are required to undertake a mini project which should be based on consumers' decision making process. Now the consumer decision making process project should be followed with the certain instructions. Now what are these instructions? So the instructions are here. You are supposed to select a particular business outlet. Okay, so after selecting a particular business outlet, collect the details about their consumer. Collect the details about their consumer decision making process. So the sample size should be 50, and then based on the consumer decision making process of these 50 samples, you have to draw inferences on various dimensions of the consumer decision making patterns. So here the consumer decision making patterns should be studied and how these different consumers are making their decision pattern. So this should be highlighted. Okay, now in the chapter we have seen, so in the entire 4th chapter concept, that is consumer decision making process, we have seen the different concepts like first how I have to how the consumer is understanding the problem recognition. Then once the problem has been recognized, how they are going to search and evaluate, how this search has been conducted, from where and which sources they are collecting information to evaluate their buying decision. Then how the purchase processes are taking place, and after the purchase what is the post purchase behavior has been followed. This we have seen. So here you have to understand how in this one particular business outlet, what are the different kinds of customers visiting and how these customers are taking decision, who are the influencers for them to take decision, like what kind of reference groups they are following, what are the opinion leadership they are following, then how the research they are conducting before making this decision, what kind of research process they are following. So in the research process, from where they are gathering the information, you have to see it, whether they are following quantitative data collection techniques or qualitative data collection techniques, what kind of technique they are using to collect the information about their particular purchase. Then what kind of reference groups influencing, whether my family is influencing or whether my friends group is influencing me, or any whether my colleagues or working team group is influencing me to make this decision. So who are the real influencer for me to buy make this purchase decision? So the students are supposed to visit a particular business outlet. You can select any business outlet, like it can be a wholesale business, or it can be a retail outlet, it can be a departmental store, or it can be anything, or it can be a showroom, two-wheeler, four-wheeler, any. So you have to understand what kind of buying behavior pattern is being taken place by the consumers in the particular shop or particular outlet, and what are the different criteria they are taking into consideration before making the actual purchase. Now, while making the actual purchase, the students are also have to understand whether they are making a trial purchase, or whether they are going for a repeat purchase, or what kind of purchase they are making, or whether they are satisfied consumer if they are making a repeat purchase, are they satisfied consumers, or they are delighted consumers. Okay, so how are they promoting this companies, I mean this particular product what they are purchasing, are they promoting it through word of mouth? So these all information you are supposed to collect from the consumer, and while making this decision, how they are following the steps of decision making process. So this you are supposed to understand. And then while making the actual project report, so you have to make a report. In that report you are supposed to first, at the introductory part, you have to give a brief introduction about your project report, what kind of topic you have selected and which business outlet you have selected. The business outlets brief information should be mentioned. And later you have to frame your objectives of the study, why you are making this mini project. So these objectives should be stated, and then statement of problem. The scope of study should be mentioned here, and after mentioning the scope of study, you have to undergo your project analysis. You can select a particular one sample technique to analyze the samples what you have collected, and based on your collected data you have to frame the findings, suggestions you are supposed to give, and then final inferences, that is the conclusion of your project report. So while giving the findings, suggestions, see, you can even help out the particular business outlet from where you are collecting the data in making their consumer decision making pattern very clear, or to make understand the business outlet person how your consumers have been behaving, are they satisfied, what kind of updation or what kind of changes they are expecting from that particular business outlet. We can give them suggestion in the suggestion form out of our project report. So students, you all are requested to find it out from your mini project. You are supposed to get some findings, and based on your findings you are supposed to give some suggestions, and then based on your suggestions and findings the entire project inference should be framed. That is the final conclusion, what you have learned out of this project, mini project work. What was your expectations, and what is your actual achievement out of this project report. You have to mention it in the form of inference, and then try to attach some references whatever you have followed it. So these all should be followed in your mini project work. Okay, I think you are going to learn a lot from this, because the practical knowledge you'll be getting out of this. So already you have learned all the theoretical concepts, and now from these theoretical concepts you will be applying it in a practical one, and you yourself will be framing some project report. Okay, so in that report you will be understanding how this is actually taking place in the actual market, not in the theoretical format, in the practical format also. So you will be learning out of this. So friends, in our today's session we have discussed, so consumers decision making process, this is a chapter, and based on this chapter's concepts you are supposed to undertake a mini project work. So in that mini project work you have to collect, the students are required to undertake a mini project on consumers decision making process, where you are supposed to select a particular business outlet, and then after selecting that business outlet you have to collect the details about their consumer decision making process. So while collecting the details, you try to select some sample size of 50, and based on this 50 sample size, you have to undertake a study how the different patterns which has been taken place by these 50 samples or the consumers, and then draw inferences on various dimensions of this consumers decision making patterns. I hope you have understood this, and hope you will be doing this mini project, which will definitely help you to come out with a great experience of applying the theoretical concepts into the practical aspect. Thank you. Thanks for listening.